Often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show under the world of outlaws.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Richmond International Raceway as we are bringing you live the Upper Edge Racing Profile Machine Products Cup Series powered by our Expression. Once again, welcome to Dre Broadcasting Network. My name is Dave Everly, and I'm going to be bringing you the action live here on YouTube. We should have an exciting race, but then again, who does not love some short track racing? So it should be exciting and should make for a good finish. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at our point standing here so far this season. We are still being led by Michael Laraya. He has got 54-point lead over Walker Thomas, who is currently second in points. Joshua Adams now sitting third in points, 59 points behind. Michael Fettelson, 63 points behind. And fourth, Carl Shedd, rounding out your top five in points. So we are on race 13 of 22. That's right, 13 of 22. So we are moving down the line here. These guys are getting ready for the chase here in the Upper Edge Racing Profile Machine Products Cup Series powered by our Expression. Taking a look here at the schedule, we are at Richmond here. This is the last race before the chase begins. So everybody is going to be vying to get into the chase. So as we are going to start working on finding out who is going to be the new champion this season. We have got a lot of good drivers out there as we are currently in qualifying, 4.5 minutes left to go. So these guys are itching to get out on the track and get back a rolling After a fun race last week at Darlington, I'm expecting 200 laps here at Richmond. It's gonna be a blast. Well, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/c/Dre Broadcasting Network. Hit up that chat. Tell me who you think's going to win tonight. Right now, Ryan Dyson is the man on point. He is on pole as he is making his way off pit road. Joe Lawrence currently in second. Bradley Burke third. Riley Grant Davis fourth. And Michael Laraya sitting there in the fifth position. But we still got just over 3.5 minutes left, so that definitely could change. Who is going to come away with tonight's pole? As these guys are going around the track here, trying to see if they can better their times. It'll be interesting to see, as these guys have put on a heck of a season already. So I'm excited for here at Richmond. Richmond's a great track. Definitely excited to see what these guys are going to do and what kind of action they're going to bring everybody watching at home tonight. Taking a look at the chat, we got a few guys out in the chat. We got Adibus Laddick, he finished 50. That is not NIS Race at Charlotte. Congratulations there, Adibus. Good finish. Got Chief out there in the chat. We've got James Finley out there, Drummer Boy 12. Race Towns out there all ready to get some action here at Richmond. As these guys are finishing up their qualifying, a little over a minute and a half, then we will be getting ready to go green flag racing here at Richmond. So this will be interesting. You're absolutely right there, Chief. It should be an interesting night. I think we're going to see some bumping. We're going to see some grinding. So it's that type of track, though. Not much room to go. You're going to have to get that position, so position is definitely going to be key, right along with pit strategy. Some good-looking paint schemes out there as these guys are sitting ready to go green flag racing. Just under a minute left to go. As we see Joe Lawrence making his way out on the track here with just 15 seconds left to go. Once these guys are done qualifying, we're going to give them a chance to get gridded up and then go over tonight's starting order here for the Richmond 200. Once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning into the Dre Broadcasting Network, and a big thank you out to iRacing as they have us on their portal channel, iRacing Live. So we've got fans from all over the world checking these guys out, ready to put on a good show here at Richmond. Here to get gridded up, and then we'll go over tonight's starting order. Looking at tonight's starting order, Ryan Dyson, the man on point here at Richmond, with a 20.212 starting on tonight's poll. Joe Lawrence starting in the outside second position. Starting third tonight, Bradley Burt. Bradley Grant Davis starting there in fourth. Michael Lariah starting fifth. Austin Hartenfeld sixth. Starting seventh tonight, Joseph Tice. Corey Hoover starting in eighth. Starting ninth tonight, Jamie Dyson. Nick Massey starting in 10th. Starting 11th, the 45 of Carl Shedd. Walker Thomas starting in 12th. Starting 13th, Michael Fennelson. Shane Tyrion in the 38 Toyota starting 14th. Robert Kenny starting 15th. Bronson Stafford 16th. Starting 17th tonight, Tom Story. Adam de Blasio starting in 18th. Starting 19th, Corey Blevins, and Joshua Adams rounding out the field in 20th position. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 200 laps here at Richmond. As these guys go around two pace laps before we get the green flag. Once again, you are watching the Dre Broadcasting Network as we are bringing you the Profile Machine Products Cup Series powered by our Expression and Upper Edge Racing. As they have just now completed pace lap number 1 as we are getting ready to go green flag racing for the first time here tonight at Richmond for the Richmond 200. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Pace car coming through turning 3 and 4. Pace car is off, getting ready to go green flag racing for the first time here tonight. And boogity, 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 here we go. Green flag racing at Richmond. Ryan Dyson out to the early lead. Joe Lawrence on the outside. Bradley Burke sitting right there in third position as Lawrence and Dyson are side by side. Dyson stuck on the inside, Lawrence on the outside. Here comes the 24, Riley Grant Davis. He is trying to make some moves, but he's got the 44 of Michael Lariah underneath of him as these guys are jockeying for position. Dyson out to the lead. Single foul for the top 3. But we still got the 24, Riley Grant Davis there. He is battling hard. A little further back, Corey Hoover sitting there also trying to battle as he is fighting the 29 of Austin Hartenfels there for the 7th position. As these guys get single file here through the rest of the field, Michael Fennelson sitting back in 11th, Jamie Dyson sitting 12th, Shane Tyrion sitting there in 13th position. So these guys battling out, but they got 200 laps to go. Taking a look at their pit times, these guys running right about mid 22nd to low 21-second lap times. So these laps are ticking down in a hurry. They are getting about 3 laps every minute. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest here in the booth with me tonight. That's right, we have the one, the only Sean Zulu joining me here in the chat for the Richmond 200. How you doing tonight, Sean?
Oh, I am doing good, and how are you, Dave?
I'm doing great here, excited for some short track racing here at Richmond.
Oh, absolutely right here, 200 laps with 20-second lap times, the A cars, the Gen 6 machines. And we hope everybody in the chat out there is doing well. Thank you for tuning into the Dre Broadcasting Network. We can never thank you guys enough. And so far, everybody on the racetrack just pretty much going single file. We have a 28 so far. Ryan Dyson flirting with the apron here. Almost every single exit off turn 4. The 51 of Bradley Burch is inside entry turn 1. They'll be side by side. And Dyson will sustain or hold the outside.
Yeah, I don't know about that outside line, but Ryan Dyson's making it work as you see him move back down next to that yellow line, taking it out wide. So there's a couple grooves they can run here, that's for sure, Sean.
Absolutely, and with the changing track conditions with every single lap, it's going to be vital and very, very crucial for the drivers to try and find their sweet spots, different race lines, because once again, these machines just might start off to be loose, they might start off tight, but usually it depends on the driver's driving styles. Some drivers do prefer to have loose machines, some do prefer to have tight machines, but they do say here on the oval side of things, the loose is fast. So most of these drivers most likely would prefer to have loose machines, and so far for the back in the pack, the 29 of Austin Hardenfeld to the inside of 33 of Corey Hoover, side by side they go on the exit of turn 4, but Hoover does make the pass successfully against the 29 of Hardenfeld.
Yeah, it looks like that outside lane is one of the faster ones, but the question is though, I mean, pit window, we've seen these guys time and time again throughout the season go green flag. Look, here comes the 45, Carl Shen. He is looking to the inside of Austin Hartenfeld. He is on the inside as they are side by side as they cross the start finish into turn number 1. Carl Shen down along that yellow line. Austin Hartenfeld's not really giving him too much room here as they are battling it out for that. Looks like it's going to be for the 8th position.
Yep, and Carl Shed has been pinned down to the bottom lane, and that's not a good thing for him, because when you want to have a good entrance, good exit, you want to enter from the high side to go in as an like an arc, to have the perfect exit. But so far, Shed still holding his own against Hardenfeld. Hardenfeld's not giving up either, and neither is Carl Shed. Still side by side, exit turn 4. Oh, Dave, and for the back in the pack as well. Actually, up front, we have a battle for second place. It's still between Burke and Dyson, side by side.
Yeah, these guys have been battling it out, I'll tell you. Only 14 laps into it, though. Their tires are still kind of new. It's less than a mile track, so these laps go in a hurry. They can run a large amount of laps here. So it'll be interesting to see when the pit window is going to open for them, Sean.
Yeah, absolutely. And with this being such the short track that it is, 0.75 miles, 0.8 miles, if you want to round that up, most likely we'll see pit stops maybe way above 50 laps on tanks and tires. And with that said, Dave, something tells me this just might become a track like Kansas. Well, we can't really compare this to Kansas, but the only way you can compare them is how you're gonna have to make passes while you can. Basically, we see these drivers going side by side so far early on, trying to take advantage of tires while they can. Because Dave, once those tires go away, it's gonna be a slight, I should say, icy loose.
Oh, most definitely. And I tell you what, another thing these drivers got to watch, the more laps they run, you can already see in some parts of the track getting real dark with that rubber down on the track. As they lay more and more rubber here on the track, that's a great thing about iRacing. You can see the track conditions change, but as there more and more rubber put down, that means their cars are going to get a little bit more slicker too.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, these drivers have to definitely keep it in mind that these machines will change once again with every single lap. They do not want to be caught off guard, because that is never a good thing. And for the back in the pack, Dave, we have the 14 of Michael Fenelson, has the 29 of Austin Hartenfels all over his back bumper. But off turn 2, Fenelson does pull away from the 29 of Hartenfels. But Hartenfels here is not out of the clear just yet. But behind Hartenfels, he has Nick Mas. Nick Mas is bringing 38 of Shane Tier in with him.
Yeah, most definitely the 38 of Shane Tyrion in that Nationwide car looking good out there right behind them. You also got to look, there's the 18 of Walker Thomas. He has been wicked fast here tonight. And then right behind them, back in 14th, that's 21, Adam de Blasio in that Syracuse machine. We saw him take the win last week at Darlington. So he's got that momentum. He has started 18th, already working his way up into 14th.
Absolutely, and he is headed the right direction, trying to get up there here before too long, and right behind him, de Blasio, that is, Joshua Adams as well, trying to feature his name here into these battles, but Joshua has lost 5 spots ever since the green flag got flown. And so far, something just tells me he's trying to just ride and pounce when it really matters the most towards the end of the race. They keep in mind that they do have green flag pit stops still needing to be completed, most likely 2 to 3. Well, I should say 2 to be safe, so we should expect to see 2 green flag pit stops in order for the drivers to be able to make it the remainder of the way, or I should say the full length of the way. And so far here we have 178 laps remaining. That is 178 laps. Still a very, very long way to go. And right behind Adams, the 25 of Corey Blevins. Corey so far having a Sunday drive. He is about 7 seconds behind the leaders, Joe Lawrence and Ryan Dyson.
Yeah, but the only thing is a track like this, as short as it is, he can get caught up. He might be just kind of saving his stuff, riding, waiting to see what's going to play out. Maybe playing the caution game, hoping that a caution comes out. So he's just kind of back there riding. Same with Robert Kenny sitting back there in 19th, and Tom Story sitting there in 20th. So they're just kind of riding though. But 200 laps here at Richmond, I mean, that's still a long time to go, even though we're still running right about 20-second lap times.
And Dave, I'm glad you mentioned that. Absolutely, these drivers can catch up to the field in no time. At the same time, they can lose. I mean, they can lose a lap in no time too. Like for example, let's take Tom Story. Tom Story in 20th place spot, 13 seconds behind the leader, Joe Lawrence. That means Joe Lawrence is only 7. They are only about 7 seconds apart. So Joe Lawrence is 7 seconds behind Tom Story. And if Tom does not up his game, Joe Lawrence will put him a lap down, or catch up to him and put him a lap down in no time. That's one thing you don't want to do at a track like this, is go a lap down, because even when those green flag pit stops kick in, they're going to lose at least 1 or 2 laps just due to how fast the track goes. So they do have to keep that in mind, absolutely. And going back up front, the 5 of Joseph Tice. Joseph Tice has the 24 of Riley Grant Davis behind him. And Davis at the same time has a 33 of Corey Hoover at the same time behind him. Oh, Corey Hoover at the inside, tries to poke his nose into the inside of Davis, but Davis chopped his nose off and maintained the sixth place position.
Yeah, taking a look here, the top 7, top 8 right now is only just a little over 3 seconds apart from the leader back to 8th. So these guys are still running pretty close here, but I tell you, some of these guys here in the back, as we see the 18 of Walker Thomas, he is working on the outside of the 21 of Adam de Blasio. Right behind him, the 88 of Joshua Adams also in this mix. Got a heck of a hornet's nest right here with Shane Tyrion, Austin Hartenfels, Walker Thomas, Adam de Blasio, and Joshua Adams.
Yeah, and the 18 Walker Thomas not giving up. He is trying his best to maintain his 13th place spot, but that just got robbed from him by the 21 of Adam de Blasio. Up in front of him, the driver goes sideways. This is going to be 29 of Hartenfels. Oh, big check up on the inside. They somehow save it, collect it. Holy cow, nice save by these drivers, and we stay green.
We are going to have to pull that up here on the Dre Broadcasting Instant Replay here. We are going to focus on Shane Tyrion. is Shane Tyrion, and I do believe that was Walker Thomas to that was Austin Hartenfels. Got a little sideways here, so let's take a look here. As they come into the turn, they were running single file. Looks like Austin Hartenfels gets a little loose, dirt tracking. Same with Shane Tyrion, a checkup by Adam de Blasio and Joshua Adams, but they keep it green. I tell you, that's some great driving by these guys.
Great driving indeed. Very, very commendable. And especially on Shane's part, the 38, Shane Tyrian's part, he had that thing turned all the way to the right just to correct it. It ended up working. Usually they do end up overcorrecting it, but that was definitely a nice save from an experienced driver, Shane. Nicely done once again. And so far, Shane is behind 29 of Hartenfels, trying his best to push him past 21 of Adam de Blasio. But de Blasio was trying to get around Hartenfels and push that's going to be the 18 of Walker Thomas past the 29 of Hartenfels.
Yeah, I mean, you also got to take into a point, though, these guys, you got to be careful because this is the last race of the regular season. Next week will be the first race of the chase, so these guys know they need to get those points and lock themselves into the chase.
Yep, that would mean more aggression. Gonna be aggressive now. You're gonna try and be out there. Like, so for example, Joe Lawrence will try and stay up front all race long tonight for that track position so he can be in the best spot possible, setting himself up for the end of tonight's race. And so far here we see some battling going on side by side. 18 Walker Thomas, 21 Adam de Blasio, side by side, 11th and 12th actually on the front stretch. And Joshua Adams as well in this mix, trying to get it on the inside of Hartenfels. I think it's going to be 38 of Shane Tyrion. And Shane has sustained some left front damage on that machine, but so far it doesn't seem to be affecting that machine whatsoever.
Well, that's a good thing about these short tracks, Sean. You can hit the wall, sustain some damage. It's not a high aerodynamic track. So you can still sustain some damage, still be able to compete with it being a short track. Not really top speeds, but these guys are hitting almost 145 mile an hour on the straight stretches and then still running about 80 to 90 mile an hour through the turns.
Yeah, very, very good point indeed. Absolutely. And at the same time, you know, we're in the worst case scenario, the only thing that's going to affect them, that it's going to affect would be the rotation of the machine. But other than that, absolutely no top speed whatsoever, no aerodynamics, not too many aerodynamics taken into place at a track like this. So that absolutely is a bonus. And Dave, for the back in the pack, we have Bronson Stafford in the 19th place spot, where they already have Austin Hartenfels being shown 2 laps down. Austin is back on the track racing as we speak. Actually looks like Austin Hartenfels did not even pit in, so he still has 38 laps on his tires and tank. So it looks like something happened where he ended up, I guess that incident that happened over there it cost him 2 laps. So right now he is trying his hardest to get his laps back the hard way and maybe even hoping for a caution, Dave.
Actually, I'm showing that he has pitted. He pitted about 3 laps ago. So he's on a different pitch strategy than everybody else. Everybody else sitting about 40-some laps. So he is still running, but he may have gone down pit road. As I looked like there was a car there. Bronson Stafford, he is now sitting down on pit road. Looks like he got into an incident. Let's pull up the instant replay here, see if we can figure what happened to the 39 of Bronson Stafford. As we go back to the Dre Broadcasting instant replay here, focusing on Bronson Stafford. Looks like coming out of the turn, he just got real loose. The back end kicked around, and he slid down and hit the bottom track and unfortunately had to call a tow. But that is still going to keep us green flag racing here at Richmond.
Absolutely. Very, very unfortunate indeed for Bronson Stafford. He is still on pit road as we speak. His pit crew most likely hard at work trying to fix that machine up, even though it does seem to be very, very clean. Not a single scratch on that beast. But also going back up front so far, Joe Lawrence still leading. Ryan Dyson second, Michael Araya third, Bradley Burke fourth, and Joseph Tice in the 5th place spot by 78. Joe Lawrence has now caught up to the back of the pack once again. His next victim, 37 of Tom Story. Tom Story is going to be going a lap down before too long if he does not up his game. And so far, Tom is really pushing that machine. It is sideways, almost at the exit of every single turn. That lets you know how much he's pushing it, trying to stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, most definitely. Here's Joe Lawrence has now caught him as he's going to try to make the pass on the inside. Unable to do it, jumps back up behind him. Now he's going to get side by side with the 37 of Tom Story as he is going to put him technically one lap down, but they are still side by side battling out. 78 Joe Lawrence battling it out as it looked like Austin Hartenfels there was coming back off pit road again or coming down off the apron. So it looks like he might be having a little bit of issues with that Chevrolet machine of his.
Dave, we had some trouble on the track. 38 of Shane, absolutely heavy damage on that machine. It has seen better days. Looks like he had some trouble on the exit of turn number 2 as well. And he's retiring for the night, unfortunately.
Well, we are going to pull up the Dre Broadcasting replay, focusing on the 38 of Shane Thierry. And let's see if we can see exactly what happened here as he was down on pit road. Here, it looks like right here, coming out of the turn, he gets into the outside wall and it shoves him right down into the inside wall, taking out his whole front clip. Highly unfortunate there for the 38 of Shane Tyrion.
And unfortunately, he has retired for the night. We'll look forward to seeing this driver back next week for the first race of the chase. Chase race number 1, but pit road getting busier by the lap. We have Riley Grant Davis pitting in. Austin Hartenfeld's down pit road as well. Green flag pit stops on the way. And Corey Hoover does join them down pit road this time by with 50 laps on his tires. But going back up front so far, Joe Lawrence still leading this thing now, being shown 1.9 seconds ahead of the 28 of Ryan Dyson, who is currently the second place driver. Last time I checked, Ryan Dyson was 1.4 seconds behind Joe Lawrence. So Joe Lawrence has definitely increased that gap in the last couple of laps. The caution flies this time by on lap 5-3.
Well, as we pull up the Dre Broadcasting Instant Replay, it looks like it's going to involve the 37 of Tom's Story. So we are going to take a look here, see if we can see exactly what happened here. Is the 37 looks like he's slowed down right behind the 51. The 5 of Joseph Tice comes up, contact between him and Tice, and Story is going to get spun around on the track, bringing out our first caution of the night.
Yeah, very unfortunate indeed for Tom Story. And he will be on pit road here before too long, trying to get that machine hammered out. But once again, like Dave talked about, the good thing about it being Richmond, he should be able to keep up to pace despite all the scratches and dents in that machine. But going back up front, we are being led by Joe Lawrence still, who leads everybody down pit road, and everybody will follow. I should say everybody except for the drivers who pitted in.
Yeah, turn 4, they're going to get their lap back there for sure. But everybody down on pit road right now, unfortunately, we're probably not going to get any interviews in during cautions because cautions here at Richmond happen very quickly because before you blink an eye, they are back green flag racing.
Yeah, very, very true. And Riley Grant Davis, Dave gets the wave around the pace car, the lucky dog, back on the lead lap. On lap number 55, that puts him the last driver on the lead lap in 15th place. Great job, the 24 of Riley Grant Davis. And off pit road, looks like the race of off pit road was won by the same leader, the 78 of Joe Lawrence.
Yeah, Joe Lawrence has done a good job tonight, leading 50 laps of the 54 already ran. So he has dominated so far tonight. But as we've seen with many, many races, that could definitely change here, Sean. As we are looking at 145 laps remaining. That's right, these laps are going quick here as we have already ran 56 of 200 laps. So these guys know it's before they know it, it's going to be white flag and then the checkered flag.
Yeah, very, very true. And these drivers, unfortunately, we've lost one more driver, the 39 of Bronson Stafford. Very unfortunate indeed for Bronson, but look forward to seeing him again in Chase Race 1 next week at Chicagoland Speedway. Yeah, behind the pace car, yeah, we have Corey Hoover. Okay, only Corey Hoover, I believe. Yep, only Corey Hoover is behind the pace car, trying to get his lap back, actually including Austin Hartenfels. So Austin Hartenfels is going to be back to 2 laps down, and Corey Hoover back on the lead lap once the lights on the pace car turn off.
Yeah, should be getting the 1 to go this next time by Sean, so it's go time for these guys. As we said, last race before the chase starts, so it's go time. But looks like the 78 of Joe Lawrence going to be leading. The 33-29 going to get their laps back here, so that's going to put, as you said, Corey Hoover back on the lead lap. Tom Story is now going to be 2 laps down, so it's possible to get those laps back. We have seen it before. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The lights on the pace car are now off. We are back 1 to green, getting ready to go green flag racing once again here at Richmond.
And David, with what we had seen during the first run that we just had, the first green flag run with about 50 laps, we noticed drivers pitted in all the way from 48 through 51 laps on their tires and tanks. So with that said, Dave, if that's the case, we're going to have 2 more pit stops in order for the drivers to be able to make it the full length or the remainder of the way.
Yeah, that'll be something that we got to keep on here. Is the pace car now bringing them into turn 3 and 4. Pace car is off. We are back. Green flag racing is the 78 of Joe Lawrence gets out a good jump. Here comes the 28 of Ryan Dyson. He is making a charge. Third place, the 51 of Bradley Burt. Joseph Tice is battling it out with the 44 of Michael Laraya for that number 4 spot.
Even Joseph Tice falls back in line behind Laraya, but right behind him, Tice, that is, the 14 of Benelson pushing on the 45 of Karashed. So far going single file. Once again, they are trying their best to make the best use of the tires while they can, while they still have grip. At this point, they have the most grip they can have, they're going to possibly have on this run, and this run only. So with that said, you have to take it while you can, because once you cannot take it, you will not be able to take it. Because once again, once the grip goes away, it will become icy loose like we had seen during the first green flag run that we just had, the first 50 laps. We noticed drivers getting very, very loose on the exit of turn number 2. And with that said, it's due to the different track conditions with every single lap. And the 14 of Benelson just drives hard on the outside of the 45 of Karashed. Karashed at the car exit of turn 2 and maintains his spot, the 6th place position.
Yeah, it looks like Carl Shedd now going after the 5 of Joseph Tice as they are side by side. Carl Shedd, the man on the move so far. Taking a look here, started 11th, now running in the 5th position as he is actually leading the 5 of Joseph Tice, but right behind him, the 14 of Michael Fennelson. He is trying to make a move there on Joseph Tice as well, as Joseph Tice is stuck on that outside lane. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a treat for you. That's right, it is the Crank It Up cams. We are going to let you hear these cars zoom by. Those V8s just a warn, so let's crank it up.
right there, ladies and gentlemen, was the Crank It Up Cam courtesy of the Dre Broadcasting Network. And we hope you guys enjoyed that. Listening to those mighty V8 machines sing as one. Can't ask for anything more. Oh, we had somebody get into the wall back there for the back of the pack, but not sure which machine it was. But so far, it still stay green. Lap 72, 128 laps remaining here in tonight's race. Still a long way to go. Only a few more laps, 28 laps left before we cross the halfway mark. And Dave, I have a feeling once the halfway mark is crossed, the driving styles will change.
Well, most definitely. As we've already seen here tonight, Sean, these guys are already starting to change up their lines a little bit. With the track conditions changing, that's a good thing about here iRacing, the motorsports simulator, is that these track conditions actually change. You have to adjust your driving as the race goes along. Got to change up your lines because your car is going to start handling different.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly why they have to be on their toes every single lap, because usually when it catches them off guard, it is a recipe for disaster. And with that said, being on guard is always the best thing. It's always a solution. And Dave side by side for second place between Ryan Dyson and the 44 of Michael Araya. We have the 28 of Dyson on the outside, 44 of Laraya on the inside, side by side still. But Laraya will propel on the exit of turn 2.
Good job there by the 44 Michael Laraya as he gets around the 28 Ryan Dyson. He's now got his eyes set on Joe Lawrence. Joe Lawrence now about a 1.3 second lead over Michael Laraya. He has now led 72 laps here tonight. So he has led a lot of laps here as we were approaching the right up almost the halfway point here. We got about 24 laps till we hit the halfway point.
And right behind Ryan Dyson is a 51 of Bradley Burke, with Dyson and Leroy bundling there the past 2 laps. It allowed Bradley Burke to close that gap, and he's now all over 28 of Ryan Dyson. So far, Dave Bradley is trying his best to figure out a way or figure out a strategy to set up the 28 of Ryan Dyson. But at the same time, that is easier said than done.
Yes, that's a short track. It's challenging, but these drivers have been racing together all season. They know how each of them is going to do, so this will definitely be interesting.
Yeah, like we always say, getting to a driver is one thing, but getting around them is another thing. And one is easier than the other. And right now behind Bradley Burke is the 45 of Carl Shed, and Carl Shed bringing the 5 of Joseph Tice with him. And Dave, these guys are staying very close together, very bunched up compared to the first run.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we are now approaching lap 80 of 200, we are going to take this time to take our first commercial break of the evening here with the Dre Broadcasting Network as you are watching the Profile Machine Products Cup Series powered by our Expression and Upper Edge Racing. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Dre Broadcasting Network as we are bringing you the final race of the season tonight for the Profile Machine Products Cup Series powered by Our Expression and Upper Edge Racing. That's right, this is the last race before the chase. These guys are here at Richmond wanting to lay it down. Right now we are being led by Joe Lawrence. Michael Lariah sitting in second. Ryan Dyson third, but he is now under fire from the 45 of Carl Shedd. Carl Shedd to the inside with the 5 of Joseph Tice as he is door to door with Ryan Dyson here on lap 93, just 108 laps remaining.
And Joseph Tice behind the 45 of Carl Shedd is trying his best to pick the best line possible. And so far, it looks like the inside just might be the place to be, considering that 45 of Shedd was able to make the pass against 28 of Ryan Dyson successfully. But nope, 28 of Dyson was able to maintain the spot away from the 5 of Joseph Tice. And we now have, let's see, we have about 14 to 17 laps here before the second round of green flag pit stops starts to take place. So fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen, green flag pit stops on the way.
Yeah, I can't wait. I love green flag pit stops. You know that, Sean. As I always say, separates the boys from the men, because getting on pit road here at Richmond International Raceway is kind of difficult. You can actually miss it with a blink of an eye if you ain't paying attention.
Absolutely, because you're carrying way too much speed, and with how much rotation you need on the wheel input there, it is very, very difficult to pit in, backing you down from 120 plus down to pit road speed limit, which is 40 miles an hour. That is 40 mph. So yeah, it makes it very difficult. And so about 21 of Adam de Blasio to the inside of 14 of Michael Fennes on side by side. They go through the front stretch, entering turn 1. And Fennes on so far has been shuffled down to the outside line, and behind him is the 51 of Bradley Burke. Bradley Burke just watching this battle from his cockpit, trying to just follow the line of the driver who wins this battle. That's going to be between, once again, de Blasio and Fennes for 6th and 7th.
What a good move there by the 21 of Adam de Blasio. Adam de Blasio has been the driver on the move, starting 18th, now running in 16th position, gaining 12 positions just in the first half of the race. So, good job. He is wanting to continue that momentum after last week's win.
Absolutely, he is once again the heaviest mover here in tonight's race this far. 99 laps in, he has come a very long way, and he's not going to stop just yet until we get to the race leader, and most likely lead some laps. And something tells me once he starts leading those laps, it's going to be extra difficult to take that lead away from him. And so far, it's going to be going to come down to having excellent green flag pit stops. And Dave, with these green flag pit stops and with how fast the track is, do you expect to see everybody taking 4 tires?
Yeah, I think 4 tires is going to be the way to go. We may see some people trying a 2-tire strategy. It'll be interesting to see. 2 tires will get you in and off pit road faster, but those 4 tires will make your car a little bit faster with all that fresh rubber.
Oh, absolutely. Gonna want to have the most grip possible to try and to batter your opponents. And looking in the chat, we have a new viewer. It's been a while. Michelle McMaster Eisenhower in the chat. Good to see you there, Michelle. It's been a while. And I'll be doing well. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you.
I tell you what, I've been watching Michael Lariah. He is actually slowly catching Joe Lawrence. He's about 1.0 second behind him, but he is slowly gaining on him. But Joe Lawrence now leading 98 laps. We have 98 laps to go. So he is on the way of leading the most laps already here at the halfway point. So he is putting on a pretty good show, but he's got Michael Lariah right there. Also Carl Shedd sitting there in 3rd, Ryan Dyson 4th, and Adam de Blasio now up into the 5th position.
Yeah, during that last restart we just had, Michael Lariah was behind Ryan Dyson, but as soon as he got around Ryan Dyson, he was able to catch up or to decrease the gap in between him and the leader Joe Lawrence. But Dave looks like Joe Lawrence has either upped his game or Michael Araya has either might be paying the price for pushing it too hard, because Dave, his lap times are getting nothing but slower. At the same time, the gap in between him and the leader Joe Lawrence is getting nothing but bigger.
Yeah, he may have burned up his stuff, these guys, right now, right about 51 laps since their last pit stop. So they might be trying to extend it as long as they can, try to make it on one more pit stop. We have 95 laps to go, so it'll be interesting to see how this is going to play out, how many laps these guys can do on a tank of fuel.
Yeah, absolutely, and very, very good observation there, Dave, on your part, because last time drivers pitted in once again, all the way from 48 laps on their tires, 48 to about 51 laps on their tires and tanks before the caution came out. But now nobody pitted in on 48 laps on their tires. Nobody pitted in on 50 laps on their tires. The driver with the most laps on his tires so far is the 29 of Austin Hartenfels, including the 33 of Corey Hoover with 58 laps on their tires this far. And for the back in the pack, the 10 of Robert F. Kenny Varner, but going a lap down here in no time. He is about 20 seconds behind the leaders, which means the leader has him in his sights. Yes, he does. Joe Lawrence is right behind Robert Kenny, and Robert's trying his best to maintain the race lead.
Yeah, most definitely. So I tell you, that 78 of Joe Lawrence, he is fast out here tonight. Taking a look, but believe it or not, the fastest guy that put down the fastest lap time, that is going to be the 51 of Bradley Burke. He is running back here in 8th position, putting down a time of a 20.491. That's right, the fastest lap so far here tonight. He is running back in 8th position.
Yep, and Bradley Burke has Riley Grant Davis right behind him. And Riley Grant as well is trying his best to pounce on Bradley Burke once he gets to him. But so far looks like the gap all the way from the 6th place spot, 6th place driver Joseph Tynes, all the way down to about, that's going to be 10th place, 48 of Nick Mass. These drivers are very, very bunched up. And speaking of Nick Mass is being shown in 10th place, holding the door to the 10th place position. And so far up front, we have a battle. That's going to be between, I'm trying to get a number, 5 of Joseph Tynes and Ryan Dyson, side by side.
Yeah, the 21 of Adam de Blasio was able to get around them both. He's now sitting in the 4th position. I think he's wanting to go for another podium here tonight.
Oh, absolutely. That could be the case, and that's going to be extra motivation for him to get the job done. And so far, Adam de Blasio here is now about 5.4 seconds behind the leader up front, Joe Lawrence. And we now have 87 laps left here in tonight's race. So, yep, Dave, maybe if these guys push it around their tanks dry, they just might be able to make it on just one more pit stop. But if the first pit window was right, 48 to 50 laps, and that was not going to be able to happen. But we have now concluded that that was not the pit window, and the pit window most likely is somewhere above, I don't know, 70 laps on tires and tanks. So with that said, it just might be close, Dave. It might be close.
Yeah, it's going to be close, but I have a feeling we're going to see some people try to extend it as long as they can. We are at 85 laps to go. These guys are at 60, well, actually from 64 to 60 laps on their tires, which means they would have to run probably about another 12 laps. Right about 12 laps, I'd say, before that pit window where they can make it on one more pit stop.
Yeah, this will make things very, very interesting. And with these green flag pit stops come a lot of different pit strategies. Some drivers do prefer to pit in as soon as the pit window opens, and some prefer to run the tanks dry, while others prefer to just pretty much follow or do what the leader does. And something tells me most drivers will try and do the exact same thing that Joe Lawrence has in mind, or might have in mind. At the same time, some drivers don't have any strategies They just pretty much want to go with the flow and hope for cautions, because those cautions do give them very, very good track position and become bad news, and could be bad news for others out there. But once again, fingers crossed. Hopefully we see some green flag pit stops kicking in here for the second round of pit stops to come. And for the back in the pack here, we have 48 of Nick Mass. Nick Mass catching 51 of Bradley Birkin. Bradley Birkin in turn catching the 14 of Michael Fenelson. Single file so far. We have Fenelson, Joseph Tice, and also the 24 of Riley Grant Davis.
Yeah, nice little pack here. As we are now lap 120 of 200, 81 laps to go. These guys sitting at 65 laps for on their tires. So, taking a look here, my math is probably way off. Wasn't my best subject in school. So we've got 80 laps remaining. So these guys need to do about another 10 laps before they'll be in the pit window and make it on one more pit stop.
Absolutely right. But Dave, speaking of pit stops on the way. 33, Corey Hoover being the first driver to go down pit road for green flag pit stops with 71 laps on his tires and tank. That is 71 laps on his tires and tank. And also 11 of Jamie Dyson. I haven't spoken much of Jamie Dyson tonight, if any, Dave, but he is in 13th place so far, behind the 25 of Corey Blevins. But behind him is the 18 of Walker Thomas. So far his biggest threat is the 18 of Walker Thomas, and he is trying his best to maintain the 13th place spot away from Thomas.
Well, I tell you what, the 29 of Austin Hartenfels, he has got 72 laps on his tires, so they can go longer. So it'll be interesting to see. 78 laps to go. We are just about the halfway, the pit window opening. So I'm actually kind of curious to see who's going to stay out the longest.
Yeah, we're about to find out and cannot wait to find that out. And Dave up front here, Michael Leroy is now being shown 1.5 seconds behind Joe Lawrence. And the last time we checked on these two drivers, it was a long time ago, but they were 1.3 seconds apart. So not too big of a difference from the last time we checked. And so far, Karashed, Dave has now caught up to the 44 Michael Leroy from the last time we checked. So yep, Michael Leroy definitely burned up his stuff trying to catch Joe Lawrence. And now Karashed is trying his best to benefit from that. But Dave pit road getting busier by the lap. Joseph Tice on pit road, Walker Thomas pit road, 71 laps on their tires.
Yeah, down on pit road, green flag pit stops here as we are taking a look at our leader, Joe Lawrence, Michael Laraya. And Michael Laraya is actually got to be careful because right there's the 33 of Corey Hoover. We've seen him come out of pit road. So he's got fresh tires. Here comes the 45, Carl Shedd. Carl Shedd to the inside, trying to take away that second position as he is getting a good run there on the inside. He is going to clear the 44, Michael Laraya. Michael Laraya thinking about trying to make a run. Nope. Carl Shedd is going to complete the pass and take away the second position.
And at this point, we have 73 laps left. That is 73 laps remaining here in tonight's race. With that said, Dave, the pit window is now open. If the drivers pit in now or later on after this point, they will be able to make it the rest of the way on just that one pit stop. So with that said, Dave, nothing at this point is on the line. But the question remains, will the drivers run the tanks dry, or will they actually, Dave, thinking about it, running the tanks dry is going to be the best thing, because then you have newer tires compared to those drivers who pit in first.
Yeah, most definitely. But I tell you what, another thing you got to look at, Joe Lawrence down on pit road. He is coming down, our race leader down on pit road. Also on pit road is going to be Ryan Dyson. Ryan Dyson following him down on pit road as well. And then behind them, Corey Blevins making the way down on pit road. So, looks like this is going to be interesting here. I think we're going to start seeing the rest of the field. Our new race leader, the 45, Carl Shedd. He is I thought maybe he was going to try to make it down on pit road, but see how long he stays out. But usually when the leader comes in, ain't too much longer. Adam de Blasio on pit road. Riley Grant Davis on pit road. Michael Laraya on pit road.
Yep, so far only 4 drivers on the lead lap need to pit in, Karashed being one of them, Michael Fenelson, Bradley Burke, including Nick Mass, and also Jamie Dyson included in that needs to pit in, but Karashed backing that sucker down, pitting in as we speak. And this is going to pass the race lead over to the 14 of Michael Fenelson. Yep, Fenelson is staying out and takes over the race lead, or will take over the race lead this time by on lap 133. That's lap 133.
Well, I tell you what, though, Joe Lawrence, he has led 124 laps tonight. Ain't nobody going to be able to pass him. He has led the most laps here as Michael Fenelson is now leading his first lap here tonight. Is he going to come down on pit road? No, he's not. He is going to stay out, and he is going to lead this lap here. It's the 78 of Joe Lawrence is going to get his lap back on the lead lap as he passed the 14 of Michael Fenelson.
In the last lap, Michael was not being shown the leader, but now he is being shown as the leader. But he still stays out once again, and this is going to give him now 81 laps on his tires. I did not know the pit window was this wide. I mean, they are running full tanks, but I still didn't know they would be able to go this long. But once again, this is a very, very short track, Richmond International Raceway. It's a 0.7-mile track, and yep, Michael Fenelson going down pit road this time by after running 81 laps on his tires. The 48, Nick Mass staying out and taking over the race lead this time by on lap 136. And going on to 83 laps on his tires, and Jamie Dyson as well. Jamie Dyson gets his lap back the hard way, but still needs to pit in before too long.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting down to the nitty-gritty of the race, the last race of the regular season before the chase begins. We have 64 laps to go. We are going to take this time for a commercial break. Once again, you are watching the Dre Broadcasting Network as we are bringing you the Profile Machine Products Cup Series powered by Our Expression and Upper Edge Racing. We'll be right back after these short words from our sponsors. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Dre Broadcasting Network as we are bringing you the Profile Machine Products Cup Series powered by our Expression. We are on the final race before the chase, and we are under caution for the second time here tonight with just 56 laps to go.
Yeah, 56 laps left and nobody needs to pit in. That means everybody will be able to make it the remainder of the way. 56 laps remaining. What can go wrong, Dave? At this point, the drivers are now used to how the machines have been handling all race long. With that said, Dave, at this point, they know exactly what they can and cannot do. So that means a lot more side by side.
Yeah, I don't know about that, Sean, but we're about to find out as I think we're going to be getting the 1 to green. Yes, we are back 1 to green. Being led by the 48, Nick Massey, Joe Lawrence in second, Jamie Dyson third, Carl Shedd fourth, and Michael Laraya rounding out your top 5.
Yep, and on this lineup, Nick Mass in the lead with help of the 11 of Jamie Dyson on the inside line. On the outside is Joe Lawrence being pushed on the restart by the 45 of Carl Shedd and Michael Laraya as well. That's going to be Joe Lawrence's biggest opponent, I feel like. He's starting 5th. Joseph Tice side by side with Laraya on the outside line. Going green this time by. Let's get it done. That pace car dips off. Nick Mass still holding pace speed. He puts on the floor. He does catch the drivers off guard. Joe Lawrence is coming enough to maintain the second place spot. Away from 45. Carl Shedd drives to the inside. Try and toss it in. But nope. 3 wide on turn 1. 11 of Jamie Dyson. 5. Joseph Tice 12 of that's going to be De Blasio. They end up going back double wide, and Jamie Dyson goes from about 4th place to 7th place, maybe 9th place in 1 lap.
Yeah, it's 3 wide. That's difficult to do here, but I'll tell you what, they did a good job. How you doing there, Austin Hawkins? Joining us in the chat, Drummer Boy 12. That's my bestie. I think you're probably, are you talking about Nick Massey there, Drummer Boy?
Yeah, good to see you guys, and you are watching it live on the Dre Broadcasting Network. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you guys are enjoying the show so far. We have 52 laps left here in tonight's race. It's been an amazing race overall here this far, and it's getting nothing but better by the lap. And up front, Dave lead change already. 48, Nick Mass loses the race lead and goes from 1st place to 3rd place, and the 44 Laraya to the inside of him for 4th place. Well, for 3rd place, but it's going to be bumped down to 4th if he gets overtaken. Laraya does propel off the exit of 2, so did the 48 of Nick Mass, but Mass gets loose on the entrance to turn number 3, and Laraya will end up propelling past him on the exit of 4.
Yeah, he is being freight trained as the 5 of Joseph Tice now to his inside. Adam De Blasio also right there. They are wanting to take those positions away here as they are just working their way through the field here. Not sure what happened to the 48 and Nick Massey, but he has dropped all the way back into the 4th position as he is battling with the 5 of Joseph Tice.
Now what I saw happened to the 48 of Nick was he got shuffled out to the outside line. He had his inside occupied by Joe Lawrence, and that was just pretty much a free lunch program for everybody behind Nick Mass. They followed the line of Joe Lawrence past the 48 of Nick Massey, and Nick Massey ended up going from 0 to 0 really quickly. Not really 0. He is still here in the top 10. He's trying his best, Dave, to get back to the inside, but so far no luck. Actually scratched that. Yes, get some luck in between Adam De Blasio and 28 of Ryan Dyson.
These guys battling it out hard here. 47 laps to go. We are running almost 2.5 to 3 laps a minute, so just a matter of time here. Is Joe Lawrence out to lead, but he is only 0.3 of a second ahead of Carl Shedd. Carl Shedd up into 2nd. He's got Michael Laraya back there in 3rd, Joseph Tice 4th. Adam De Blasio now just taking away the 4th position from the 5 of Joseph Tice.
Yep, and De Blasio's next victim in line for position number 3. That's going to be the 44 of Michael Laraya, who is holding the keys to the podium here so far here with one on lap 155 with 45 laps remaining. And so far behind Joseph Tice, we have the 48 of Nick Massey and Ryan Dyson. who is under pressure from the 14 of Michael Fenelson, but Fenelson on the outside trying to make it stick. But Fenelson here is not a threat to Dyson or anybody so far here in the top 12, because Fenelson is being shown one lap down, unfortunately, and he is trying his best to get his lap back the hard way.
Hard to do on such a track, but they are driving amazingly, so definitely got to give this league credit here. We've seen him time and time again go caution-free only here tonight. Only 2 cautions here as we take a look at our late race report. 2 cautions for 10 laps and 5 lead changes here for the Richmond 200.
Yeah, great stats indeed, and great driving by these drivers as expected week after week. And coming into the chase, these drivers trying to make the best out of this race, the race before the chase, the last race before they can, or the last opportunity or chance they have to get themselves locked in. That's enough motivation for them to get the job done, and so far they are making the best of it. And 88 of Joshua Adams so far in the 14th place spot is fighting the 14 of Michael Fenelson for position number 13, and the lucky dog. Oh, Fenelson goes siders off turn 4, taps the apron. That's going to challenge or allow the 88 of Adams to occupy his inside. Yes, they'll be side by side entering turn 1, and Fenelson trying to get a good slingshot off turn 4 with the slingshot. And he does so and maintains the 13th place spot away from the 88 of Joshua Adams.
Now, Sean, 40 laps to go here. Joseph Lawrence, he has got a battle on his hands right now with the 45 of Carl Shed and the 44 of Michael Lariah. As these guys battle, though, take a look there. Adam de Blasio there in 4th. He is gaining ground on them as well. Only 6/10 behind Michael Lariah, so he is making up a little bit of ground here. He is looking to stick his nose into this battle for the front.
Absolutely, and Dave, honestly, we saw in the beginning how strong Joe Lawrence has been and had been in the long run. But so far, ever since Karashed had moved up to 2nd place, that had changed. Seemed to have changed. I mean, looks like both drivers are pretty good in the long run. They are side by side for first place up. Front of us make contact there on the exit of turn 2. And 78 of Lawrence goes sideways off turn number 2, trying to keep 45 of Karashed behind him. And so far, it does work. In the meantime, something tells me it's not going to work for too long, because Shed will try his best to do exactly. Oh no, Shed has his inside occupied with 44 Michael Lariah. Looks like 45 of Shed did not have his inside covered. And they'll be side by side for 2nd place. Almost make contact, and he maintains second place spot away from the 44 Lariah. Oh man, Karashed still trying his best to set up the 78 of Joe Lawrence, and Joe Lawrence definitely doing that protection game, defensive line, trying to maintain his spot. When it comes down to it, you have to do exactly what you have to do to maintain that spot, that race lead. And so far, Joe doing an amazing job, and Lariah trying his best to charge against the 45 of Karashed, because that gap has increased 4/10 of a second apart, and they are pretty consistent with every single lap. 35 laps left. That is 35 laps left here in tonight's race. It is go time for these drivers, and it is showing how in their driving styles this far already. And for the back in the pack, we have the 48 of Nick Massey. Nick Massey being shown in 7th place. He has their motor roaring in his rear view. That's going to be the 14 of Michael Fenelson, but no harm there.
Yeah, but I tell you what, he has got his eyes forward. He is keeping an eye on that 28 of Ryan Dyson in 6th. Joseph Tice there in 5th. But I tell you what, I am going to keep my eyes on this man right here, the 21, Adam de Blasio. He is catching up to that back bumper of Michael Lariah. He is hoping these guys battle it out so he can get up there. But Joe Lawrence doing a good job of holding off Carl Shed. Carl Shed is hungry. He wants to come away with that win. Here comes Shed. Is he going to get to the inside? He is going to get to the inside. No, he's not. Joe Lawrence, I thought he was going to have that inside position, but he just could not get there. But that opens the door for Michael Lariah. Michael Lariah sitting there in 3rd. He is just waiting on a mistake here from Carl Shed. So it's right now Lawrence, Shed, Lariah, and de Blasio, our top 4 here, as we are now just 31 laps remaining here at Richmond International Speedway.
And that's one thing about it, Dave. Karashed seems to be in the worst position possible, because every time he tries to pounce on or go against Joe Lawrence for the race lead, it seems as though, you know, basically if he is risking it, and if he makes a mistake, Lariah will end up benefiting from that. That's going to cause Shed to go from second place to third place in no time. So Shed is trying his best to figure out a way to set up Joe Lawrence in a way that he does, even if he makes a mistake, he's going to be able to maintain second place. But nope, scratch that side by side for second place, Lariah and Karashed. And Lariah has the preferred race group on the exit of 2, just might have him. Nope, Slingshot engaged off Shed, off turn 2, entering turn 3, still side by side, second place.
Yeah, I tell you what, there goes Michael Lariah, but here comes back Carl Shed on that outside. They are battling it. I tell you, somebody that's going to be happy to see that, I think Adam de Blasio is going to be happy to see that, because as they battle side by side, that's going to slow them down, allow Adam de Blasio to catch up, but that's also going to allow the 78 of Joe Lawrence to pull away here as we are under 30 laps to go.
We have 27 laps left here in tonight's race, and Joe Lawrence still having a heck of a race on his part. He's led the most laps tonight and will lead the most laps by the time the race ends. Very, very impressive on his part. And so far behind them, we have the 28 of Ryan Dyson. Dyson is 7/10 apart from his next victim, the 5 of Joseph Tice for 5th place. So Ryan Dyson is trying his best to catch up with the 5 of Joseph Tice, because Joseph is holding the keys and the door to the top 5 here. The race before the chase once again. This is the last time, the last chance they have to get themselves locked in. And that's exactly why they're pushing it as hard as they are right now, trying to be in the best spot possible to try and get into that chase so they can be able to race for the championship. And for the back in the pack, we have Corey Blevins. I haven't spoken much of Corey Blevins, it's been a while, but Corey is still keeping a low profile. He has been a very, all race long tonight. He's currently in 11th place, about, that's going to be 8/10 of a second apart from his next victim, 11 of Jamie Dyson, for 10th place.
Well, it's go time, Sean. 24 laps to go. Basically, that's probably about 15 minutes, and this race is going to be over. Joe Lawrence now, he has got about a 6/10 lead over Carl Shed. Carl Shed back in second, Michael Lariah third. Adam de Blasio, though, he's losing some time to Michael Lariah as Joseph Tice is actually catching him. So he is in jeopardy of losing that number 4 position to the 5 of Joseph Tice.
Absolutely, yeah, the gap definitely has increased. From last time we checked on de Blasio versus the leader, Joe Lawrence. Last time we checked, he was 1.5 seconds behind the leaders. But now that's gone all the way up to 2.3 seconds and 22 laps remaining. He can be able to catch up to them, but that is once again easier said than done. But so far, top 3 drivers, Joe Lawrence, Karashed, Michael Lariah, less than a second apart from each other. Very, very close. And right behind them, for the back in the pack, we have 24 of Riley Grant Davis. Grant Davis has a cluster. It's going to be 24 of himself, Davis. Michael Fenelson, 88 of Joshua Adams. These guys in a cluster of their own and racing hard.
Yes, they are. So, but 20 laps to go. So just a matter of minutes before this race is over. But I tell you what, Carl Shed, Michael Lariah, they are keeping tabs with the 78 of Joe Lawrence. One little mistake, they're going to be ready there to pounce.
And Dave, so much side by side here so far going on. For the back in the pack, Walker Thomas 51, Bradley Burke 14, Michael Fenelson 24 of, that's going to be 24 of, is that 24? Am I looking at the right car? Yeah, the 24 of Riley Grant Davis, I apologize. And he is still side by side with the 14 of the of Michael Fenelson. And once again, Fenelson is being shown 1 lap down. Oh, they make contact, forced contact. They make contact again. 14 of Fenelson goes sideways. Is he going to save it? Oh, back on the track, hits the wall. The caution flies with 18 laps left. He blows his motor on impact. That catches a few other victims. That's going to be 28 of Dyson, 11 of Jamie Dyson involved as well. Let's back up on Michael Fenelson, Dave, and see what happened.
All right, as we are focusing here on Michael Fenelson, running in a pack with the 24 Riley Grant Davis, contact made. Fendelson tries to save it. No, he is going to go. He is going to spin back around up onto the track. And unfortunately, Austin Hartenfeld's nowhere to go as Ryan Dyson's going to end up on his lid. Let's take a look here from the cockpit view of the 14 of Michael Fendelson as he tried to save it, but unfortunately just could not save it. But he did a heck of a job trying to save it. Unfortunately, Austin Hartenfeld's nowhere to go is also going to be collected up in that.
Oh man, yeah, very unfortunate indeed for every single driver involved in that, and Michael Fendelson getting the worst end of that deal on his lid, blonde motor, and will most likely be done for the night. Yeah, he will be, because we have only 16 laps left, and that's going to be a lot of work trying to get that machine back up and running again. But everybody goes down pit road this time by Joe Lawrence, and once again leads on pit road and leads off pit road and maintains that lead once again. And Carl Shed still second. We have Michael Araya third, Joseph Tice fourth, and Ryan Dyson rounds up the top 5 this far.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. 16 laps to go. They're going to have a right about 11 to 12 laps to go when we go back green flag racing here at Richmond International Raceway.
And ladies and gentlemen, you are watching this live on the Dre Broadcasting Network in Richmond 200, part of the Upper Edge Racing Series, Upper Edge Cup Racing Series. I also want to thank them for having the Dre Broadcasting on board and aboard the action train here with the Upper Edge Racing crew. It's been an amazing race so far. 3 cautions for 13 laps, and we now have 15 laps left here in tonight's race. It's going to be a wild finish amongst these drivers. We have some drivers trying to race for position despite being a lap or more down. And we had a driver get the waiver on the pace car. I'm trying to get a name. I believe that was Corey Blevins. Yep, Corey Blevins got the waiver on the pace car back on the lead lap. I think I'm wrong. No, that was Corey Hoover. Corey Hoover got the waiver on the pace car back on the lead lap here on lap 186. So great job, Corey Hoover. We have Jamie Dyson still on the track as we speak, despite getting a piece of the action that brought out this caution. Joshua Adams rolls off pit road as well. Michael Fendelson unfortunately retires for the night. But look forward to seeing all these drivers back again for Chase race number 1 next week at Chicagoland Speedway.
Yep, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a sprint here as we are being led by Joe Lawrence. Carl Shed second, Michael Araya third, Joseph Tice fourth, and Ryan Dyson fifth. Actually, yeah, and sitting in 6th right now is going to be Adam de Blasio. I think we're going to go back to 1 to green this time by... Yes, we are. Back 1 to green as the lights on the pace car are off. Joe Lawrence is going to bring us here. We are going to have a 12-lap shootout for the checkered flag.
And 18, Walker Thomas, 10, of Robert F. Kenny get the waiver on the pace car. Both of them, great job. They get 1 lap back and are now back on the lead lap this time by giving us 15 drivers on the lead lap. And here in this lineup, Joe Lawrence still leading with the help of the 44, Michael Araya on the inside. On the outside, 45, Carl Shed being pushed by the 5 of Joseph Tice. Oh, Dave, his biggest opponent so far, well, Joe Lawrence, that is, 44 Araya starting behind him. This is going to be good. The pace car dips off. Joe Lawrence catches the drivers off guard, puts it down the floor as soon as the pace car dipped off. And side by side for second place between 44 Araya and 45 of Carl Shed. Henry, turn 1.
Yeah, Adam de Blasio right back here, though. He's back in 6th. He is wanting to get up into this top 3. Love to come away as we are under caution again.
Gonna try and catch some numbers on these machines. 25, Corey Blevins might have been involved in this. Yep, 25 of Corey Blevins got a piece of the action. Let's back it up on Corey Blevins, Dave. Let's see what happened.
Now, as we take a look at the 25, Corey Blevins coming into the turn. Looks like he's just riding there. The 11, nowhere to go, just couldn't check up. Tagged him, got him spun around, only minor damage. But that is going to bring out another caution here. So we are going to have about a 7-lap shootout now for the checkered flag once we go back green flag racing.
Absolutely, very unfortunate indeed for 25 of Corey Blevins. And this is good news for the 37 of Tom Story. Tom Story will be able to get away around the pace car, the lucky dog. Even though he is 9 laps down, yet he gets away around the pace car. Well, he's the first driver 9 laps down, or I should say a lap or more down for that matter. And he will be back to 8 laps down this time by. And we haven't spoken much of Tom Story ever since the beginning of the race. I mean, we spoke a lot of him in the beginning, but he had some bad luck. But he's now back on the track with a running motor once again, and will be shown here in 16th place. Yep, he takes over 16th place, while Corey Blevins maintains the 15th place spot, being the final driver on the lead lap. But going back up front, we still have Joe Lawrence first, Michael Araya second, Carl Rochette third, Joseph Tice fourth, and Ryan Dyson in that 5th place spot.
Yep, this is going to be fun. It's going to be a heck of a shootout.
And I believe we will have 7 laps remaining. Did you say 7 to 8 laps remaining once the green flag flies? And at this point, Dave, this is when the drivers start shaking because they know the race is almost over. Only 7 to 8 laps left once the green flag flies. At this point, it's gonna be all take and no give. So 100% take and 0% give.
Yeah, because this is the last race before the chase. We are 8 laps to go. No 1 to go, so we are going to get the 1 to go next time around. 6 laps here for the checker. Joe Lawrence leading the most laps tonight, leading 169 laps. Michael Araya starting on the outside. Carl Shedd will be starting on the inside with Joseph Tice to his outside. So this will make for an interesting restart when we go back green.
Oh, most definitely. And for all those viewers out there in the chat who would like to be a part of this action with the Upper Edge Racing crew, check out their website, upperedgeracing.com. That's upperedgeracing.com. And you have all the information you need to know, because they do have more than just one series going on. So you guys can join either of those based on your preferences and or experience. And also check them out on iRacing at Upper Edge Racing to be a part of the action. And you are once again watching the Dre Broadcasting Network. We do thank you guys for tuning in tonight, and thank you for being aboard the action train here with the Upper Edge Racing Group. We are now pack 1 to green. Actually, I guess I was wrong. I said we're gonna have a 7 to 8 lap shootout. We're gonna have a 6 lap shootout once the green flag flies. Joe Lawrence still leading with the help of the 45 of Carl Shedd on the outside of Michael Araya with the help of the 5 of Joseph Tice going green for the final time. This time by, and Dave, the next flag ends the race.
Yes, sir. It looks like the pace car dips down into pit road. Joe Lawrence wasting no time. Hard on the out of Michael Araya trying to keep that second position. Here comes Carl Shedd though. He says, hold on so fast, I am going to get this win, as he is now trying side by side here with Michael Araya as they are battling it out, but that is letting the 78 of Joe Lawrence pull away. The 5 of Joseph Tice, he is on the outside of the 28 of Ryan Dyson as they are battling for that position. Joseph Tice thinking about looking to the inside of Carl Shedd, not able to go. 5 laps to go.
And Adam de Blasio on the outside as well, trying to make some moves against Ryan Dyson for 5th place. Dyson hanging on to the door and the keys to the 5th place spot, the top 5. Adam de Blasio right now has the 33 of Corey Hooper behind him, and Corey trying to make some moves so far, but not close enough to make it stick just yet. 48 Nick Massey as well in this mix on the outside of the 24 of Riley Grant Davis for 9th place. They are still side by side entering turn 3.
And they are battling out. 3 laps to go here, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Lawrence pulling out. Michael Araya 2nd, Carl Shedd 3rd. Carl Shedd's got some competition behind him as the 5 of Joseph Tice is right there looking to take away that podium. Sitting in 4th, or 5th is Ryan Dyson. Adam de Blasio sitting there in 6th. As these are guys going to be battling out. 2 laps to go here at Richmond International Raceway.
And 48, Nick Massey on the outside line. The 51, Brad Burke on the inside. Bradley Burke falls short on the exit of 2, but will still sustain or maintain his inside entering turn 3. And they'll still be side by side for 9th place. The white flag flies this time by still being led by 78 of Joe Lawrence. Batters we have so far: 48 Nick Mass gets around 51 of Bradley Burke, who got loose on the exit of turn number 2, but on the going back up front, Joe Lawrence brings this thing home unchallenged. 44 Michael Wright comes out 2nd, Kara Shed 3rd, Joseph ties 4th, and Ryan Dyson in the 5th place spot, rounding up the top 5. Holy cow! What a race, Dave! What a race!
What a race. Good race there by the 78 of Joe Lawrence. He put on a show here at Richmond. Good job by all these drivers. What an exciting way to end tonight's race.
Absolutely, and hopefully we're going to see a smoke show here before too long. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be getting a word in with the top 3 drivers: Joe Lawrence, Michael Laraya, and Carl Shed. Stay tuned. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are being joined up in the Dre broadcasting booth by the top 3 drivers: Joe Lawrence, Michael Laraya, and Carl Shed. We're going to start with tonight's race winner, 78 of Joe Lawrence. Get up there, Joe.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing tonight?
Well, pretty good now.
Oh, man, I can only imagine. And god dang, man, you led almost every single lap. You led the most laps tonight. That's very, very commendable. Just tell us about your race tonight. Tell us about your experience for the race before the chase.
Well, it was very good. Just shy of taking the pole, but happy to see my teammate have some speed this week. It was really just I was focusing on hitting my marks and making sure I didn't speed on pit road, all the things that go with getting wins like this. But it was definitely hard with these 2 behind me. They were definitely a force to be reckoned with all the time.
Oh, absolutely, man. But you were very, very fast in the long run. You seemed to have that long run speed that you had just kept it consistent every single lap. And that consistency definitely paid off for you tonight. And how's your machine handling? Did the machine meet your expectations?
It was tight in the center, which was expected in a way, but it was a little more than what I thought was going to happen. We worked with it, and we played around with the brake bias, and kind of worked out well.
Oh, 10-4, brother. Very, very glad to hear that. And with that said, buddy, you're winning tonight's race right here at Richmond International Raceway before the chase. The race before the chase. And with that said, how are you feeling going into the chase? Do you feel you're ready enough, or what do you need to work on to better your chances?
Consistency overall, I feel like need to work on. I have races here and there that I show very strong in, but I have some that I just wreck out or just are not good. So it's going to be a key there to do the best I can in all 10 races.
Oh, 10-4, brother. Copy that. It's been an amazing race on your part tonight, an amazing season so far. On your part, Joe, you've done an amazing job. And you going into this chase with the right mindset, the right attitude, and the right momentum, a great amount of momentum. And with that said, there's nothing else you need, and anything is now possible at this point. Well, Johnny, final words before we let you go.
Thank you.
And that was the 78 of Joe Lawrence, tonight's race winner. But next in line is the 44 of Michael Araya. Got a cup there, Michael?
I got you guys.
How did tonight?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Oh, Mike, it was a heck of a race on your parts tonight. You started in the 5th place spot and finished in the 2nd place position. How's the race tonight?
It was definitely a challenge. From the beginning of the race to the end there, the track changed drastically. So the middle portion of the race there, I started experimenting with some different lines, and once the bottom started getting rubbered in and heated up, the middle line seemed to come in pretty good, and I was figuring something out there, especially in 3 and 4. I was getting some pretty good runs off the corner. So I think later on in the race, some guys caught on, and it was kind of a mind game there with which line you're going to choose to get that better exit, and because it was so hard to run the bottom to make a pass at the end of the race because it was just so tight.
Oh, absolutely, brother. Yeah, we noticed the track, I should say different racing conditions with the track every single lap. Definitely caught a lot of drivers off guard. And we also noticed you getting a little bit loose on the exit of most turns, trying to push it against Joe Lawrence, not only at the last couple of laps we had, but with also 28 laps remaining. Also with 28 laps remaining, you seem to have been all over the 45 of Cara Shed and Joe Lawrence. And with that said, how did that caution do you think if the caution had not come out with 28 laps remaining, you'd have had a better chance at the pole position?
I might have. My strong suit tends to be the long runs, so it would have been interesting to see if that would have came into play. But I know for this race, though, compared to others, the fall off wasn't quite as drastic, at least in lap time. But it was more about if you could run consistent lines and just consistent laps overall. So it might have made my chances a little bit better at getting that win, but I don't know. Joe was just so strong tonight. I think he was a class of the field, so I'll take a top 3.
Oh, most definitely, brother. It was definitely a well-fought battle on your part tonight. All race long, staying alive, executing excellent pit stops, and just being very consistent as much as you could have been. And so far, having 2 wins this season and leading in points, I want to congratulate you on that. Very, very commendable. And with that said, how are you feeling going into the chase?
I feel pretty good. There's a lot of tracks in the chase that I do like, particularly the one to start off the chase at Chicagoland. I feel like I can run very well there, so I'm excited to get it kicked off. I mean, it's going to be definitely a long next couple months, so you got to be on top of your game because these guys they're so good, and you can't let any points slip away from you. So it's going to be all about consistency and making sure you capitalize each race.
Almost definitely, but Michael, with how you've been racing all season long this far before the chase, you've been doing an amazing job, man. You have what it takes, you have the pace, you have the patience that it takes, you see the bigger picture, and you always pounce when it really matters the most. That's exactly what you need. You're always there, you're always alive when it matters the most. That's what most people struggle with. Like we saw some drivers had some bad luck on the exit of some turns there, but you were able to just pretty much take it easy, keep your cool, and keep your opponents behind you for the most part, and finish right here in the 2nd place position. And buddy, we look forward to seeing you once again in the chase with Chase Race 1 next week at Chicagoland Speedway. A very different beast compared to this Richmond International Raceway. It's going to be an amazing race. Well, but any final words before I let you go?
Oh yeah, I got to thank my sponsors, especially Profile Machine Products for jumping on board, sponsoring my car and the league. I also got to thank Lowe's and Autolite too for being on board. And most of all, I got to thank my teammates at Flat Out Motorsports, Bradley, Corey, and Grant. We've really worked well for the past couple of years in this league, and I just noticed an overall improvement the last few months, just working together and picking things up in our practices and stuff. So I think overall our team is peaking at the right time.
Oh, 10-4, brother. Well, congratulations on your success tonight and all season long, Michael, and being locked into the chase. I'm looking forward to seeing you again next week at Chicagoland Speedway for Chase Race 1. Go get ready, go celebrate, and see you next week, but have a good week.
All right, thank you.
And that was the 44 of Michael Araya, but next in line is the 45 of Cara Shed, rounding up the podium finishes. You got a cup there, Cara?
Yes, sir, I got you.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
Oh, doing good too, thank you. Well, buddy, it was an amazing race on your part as well. Very, very hard-fought battles. We didn't see much of you during the first green flag run, the first 50 laps. But after that, you were all over the leader, Joe Lawrence. You seemed to be his biggest opponent there during that second green flag run, until the caution ended up catching you at a bad time while you're trying to make some moves against him. But thinking about it now, what do you think you could have done differently against him?
I think the biggest struggle I had tonight was the last 2 weeks I've had to overcome mistakes in qualifying. Usually qualifying is one of my stronger suites, and just phoned it in, and it fell apart. I made a mental mistake, so I put myself in a hole starting back in 11th or 12th. And when you have guys as good as Michael and Joe, you can't spot them 12 positions on a track and expect to win a race. So get that tightened up, and I think Michael said it. Joe was the class of the field tonight. I think before that, let's see, we had the green flag stops. I'd started to catch those guys. I believe I'd passed Michael and was on my way to Joe. Joe was about a second and a half ahead of me. The green flag pit stop, I stayed out a couple laps trying to keep some fresh tires on it, and when we came back green, I was like, all right, we're going to be great here. We're going to be great. Well, Joe's going to get out ahead. He's going to wear some tires out. We'll come back to him. And then, of course, the caution comes out and resets everything. And then after that, all bets are off.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, man, there was so much battling going on, and excellent executed green flag pit stops on your part, and you staying out like that, trying to keep those fresh tires. And tell us, how's the tire wear out there? Because it seemed as though about 15 to 20 laps in, things went south differently for drivers based on their driving styles. For example, some became looser while others became tighter.
Yeah, entry, it was interesting. It felt like you could force the entry harder into the corner. As the rear tires started to wear and you were getting less grip on exit, they're slower, you could really drive the car. And then that's where I felt like I was starting to gain on Joe in that long run, and also Michael, is you could drive the car almost straight into the white line before you got on the brakes. You could really hammer the brakes down and get the car to turn with the brake bias, and then just hammer it off. And it'd be loose, but you could drive it off. In the early parts of runs, it was very difficult to get a handle for what the car wanted, because it was very snug in the center. So it was a lot of, like Joe had mentioned, playing with brake bias, trying to figure out how to get your entry right so that you could roll the center clean. And then, there's also a problem. Sometimes you roll the center too well and your car wants to point down before you're ready to exit. And at Richmond, you place a little bit off the apron and you're going around. So it was pretty interesting. I think you could definitely feel the driving style change as the tires wore, more so than just the cars bogging down. So I enjoyed that quite a bit. Overall, this update seems to have really helped the racing. Oh,
Dan, we're very, very glad to hear that. And Caro, I want to congratulate you on being 5th place in points and also having one win under your belt. And how are you feeling going into the chase, buddy? You think you have what it takes to spank these boys?
It's good competition. We'll take it 1 week at a time. I feel like I've had the speed all season. I feel like I should have multiple wins up there, but you can't get in your own way. Like Joe had mentioned, you have an opportunity like this, you can't make any. So we got to tighten up some mistakes and really hope luck's on our side as well. Eliminate the silly mistakes and then be lucky, and we have a shot, I think, because we're definitely better than fifth. Hopefully that shows through the chase.
Oh, absolutely. That gives us something to look forward to. And once again, congratulations on your success so far this season. And we expect a lot more from you with this upcoming chase. And hopefully you can be crowned the champion. Oh, but any final words before we let you go?
Yeah. I'd just like to thank my teammates, Adam, Trevor, and had a good season. We enjoy spending time together here. And also like to send a shout out to my sponsors, my teams over at Aegis Motorsports, a group of guys I run with all the time over there, Dylan and David, Andrew and Amy. Trevor's also a part of that, Daniel, Everhart. So we have a good group of guys over there. And then our other sponsor that was on the car team, Tech Solutions. my buddy James Ross has put the name on board and has spent quite a few nights spotting for me over the years. So I appreciate their support as well, and I appreciate you guys for putting on a good show, and Ryan and Michael for the work they do to put on such a league, and put on a good presentation for us and for anyone that can watch.
Well, buddy, congratulations once again on your success this far this season, and especially here in tonight's race, rounding up the podium finishes after starting in 11th place. Very, very nicely done. And buddy, go get ready for that chase. We look forward to seeing you in the chase and spanking these boys and making them enjoy the view of your tail light decals. Well, buddy, go get ready and have a good rest of the week.
Thank you. You too, man. Take care.
And that was the 45 of Car Shed, but also we have a special guest so far, 5th place driver who qualified on the pole tonight, that 28 of Ryan Dyson. Gonna come up there, Ryan?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Right in tonight.
I'm pretty happy.
Man, you rounded up the podium finishes tonight. You qualified on the pole and had the fastest practice time, 20.218. Very, very impressive. And I should admit, Ryan, you were one of the drivers who was flirting with the apron almost every single lap and somehow did not get claimed by it. Tell us about your race tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely cranking things up in the right direction at the right time of year, it seems. I think that's 2 top 5s in the last 4 races, and that's our only top 5s of the season, so we're going in the right direction. Tonight we set some goals, and one of them was to get the pole, because I know I'm capable of putting down quick times. Check that one off. And the other goal was to put it in the top 5 for tonight. I knew based on practice during the week with Joe that I wasn't going to touch him during the race, so goal was to just see if I could get a top 5 tonight and check that one off too. So overall, very, very happy with tonight. And the reason I was touching the apron so much is I could not get the car to rotate. It didn't matter what I did. I don't know if I was driving it too hard or using too much brake or too much front brake crank in the car or whatnot, but I was having to use the apron a little bit just to try and rotate, do whatever I could to try and maintain that top 5, and thankfully it worked. I just didn't have enough consistency over a long run to challenge up there with those top 3-4 guys.
Oh, copy that, but it was still an amazing race on your part, man. And how were you able to adapt with the track? Basically, what changes did you have to make to help with the rotation? Because it seemed as though past the halfway mark, you seemed to have figured it out pretty well.
Yeah, that first run I stuck with Joe. Once he got around me, I sort of stayed with him, but hovered around a second. I just tried to watch what he was doing, and then I noticed Lariah coming behind me, and he'd moved up to about the middle lane. So I switched to that, and it sort of was working for me. I was able to keep those guys behind me until that first caution came out. Then I lost a few, and I trickled back a little more, and just tried to see what everyone was doing around me. I'm not one of those guys who's very good at adapting to the track as it goes throughout the night. Even a track that I consider, my favorite and best track, which is Richmond, I still wasn't able to adapt as well as some of those other guys. Like Joe and Lariah and Shed and those guys were able to adapt to it so well, and obviously it shows they put it in front of me tonight. So just still got a little bit of work to do in that situation, but overall I'd consider tonight a good success.
Oh, very, very glad to hear that, and it was a well-fought battle and a well-set-up race on your part, as usual, week after week. I also want to congratulate you on your 6th place in points here with 6 top 10s and 2 top 5s. Very, very impressive. And what changes do you think you have to make, or how do you feel you have to get ready for the chase?
The last probably about month since I started to turn around my RC, I've been putting in a lot during the week to actually prepare for the races and get on here and do some testing through the week and whatnot, and it's really paying off. I mean, I got those 2 top 5s in the last 4 races, and Pocono I was running decent until it blew up, and Darlington I was looking at a top 10 until I made that one mistake. So I mean, those 2 finishes don't show the success that we've been having, but I think that just going forward we just got to keep sticking together as a team, and Flat Out in particular are very good at working together as a team, and we're sort of trying to use what they do to our own benefit and actually get on during the week and practice and teach each other and show each other lines and stuff. So I think that's just basically all we got to do is just keep doing what we've been doing for the last month, and I expect to see hopefully Joe make a run at the championship, and hopefully I can make a run at the top 4, maybe even the championship. I got some good tracks in the last 10 races here, and hoping to see what I can do.
Oh, copy that, brother. And that gives us something to look forward to, something even more to look forward to from that 28 machine of Ryan Dyson. Very, very impressive, brother. Well, Ryan, any final words before we let you go?
Nah, just thanks to you guys for always putting on a good broadcast and always being so excited to watch the races and stuff. It definitely gives me something fun to do on Friday morning, going back and watch the races. Thanks to APC, Canusa, Our Expression Studios, Safety Clean, all the sponsors that are on this machine. New paint scheme on the car tonight. So I think after the way it performed tonight, I think we should leave it on for next week.
Oh, copy that, brother. Well, Ryan, you've done an amazing job tonight. We look forward to seeing your amazing performance as well in the chase. So, buddy, go get ready for the chase and go celebrate. And see you again next week at Chicagoland Speedway. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
And that was the 28 of Ryan Dyson. And that rounds up interviews. Ryan Dyson, Carl Shed, Michael Araya, and Joe Lawrence. Well, Dave, I am very, very speechless. A well-fought battle, a well-battled race by these drivers tonight. 200 laps completed at Richmond International Raceway by these drivers. Joe Lawrence brings it home. Michael Araya second, Carl Shed third, Joseph Tice fourth, Ryan Dyson fifth, Adam de Blasio sixth, Corey Hoover 7th, Riley Grant Davis 8th, 48 of Nick Mast 9th, and Bradley Burke in the 10th place position. And these drivers definitely did an amazing job trying to make the best out of the race before the chase. The last chance before the last chance to get locked into the chase before the chase begins, with the first race being at Chicagoland Speedway next week. So it's going to be an amazing race. So be sure to be there, ladies and gentlemen, for the first race of the chase race number 1 at Chicagoland Speedway. And these drivers are going to have a lot more racing because it's not a short track. And that's going to mean a lot more speeds and a lot more side by side. Hopefully 3 wide, 4 wide. The track is wide enough. Can't wait to see that race. Any final words there, Dave? Any final thoughts?
Well, it's been a great regular season, Sean, and all I can say is I'm ready to start the chase and see what these guys do.
Absolutely. Once again, Chicagoland Speedway next week. Don't forget to be there. And also want to thank you you viewers out there for being in the chat, being active, and watching the race as well. Also, for those who didn't comment, thank you for being there, for watching it live here on the Dre Broadcasting Network. Without you guys, we are nothing. The Dre Broadcasting Network would not be what it is today without you guys. So once again, we can never thank you guys enough. Also want to thank Upper Edge Racing for having the Dre Broadcasting aboard the action train here with the Upper Edge Racing crew. And once again, for those who would like to be a part of the action behind the wheel, check out upperedgeracing.com. That is upperedgeracing.com. They have everything you need to know. They have different series that you can join based on your preferences and or experience. Also check them out at Upper Edge Racing on iRacing. Well, the next broadcast we have coming up will be on Saturday night. That's going to be at Sebring International Raceway with the Indy cars. So be sure to be there as well. If you guys like to see some left-right turning with open wheel cars, that's the Indy cars. I am Sean Zulu, and David Everly behind the camera is also being my co-commentator tonight, actually main announcer tonight. And thank you guys for watching. Have a good night and a good Friday. See you guys next time.